welcome to the OklaRoots YouTube channel. In today's tutorial, we are going to be making something that I promise, unless you've seen this specific pattern, you have probably never seen anything like this ever before. It is beginner friendly. It's so cute. Today, we are making the luggage cup holder from Sacred Sisters Patterns. Now, I'm telling you, I've never seen anything like this. It is so cool. It is so cool. It looks challenging. 99% of it is very beginner friendly. 1% of it is a bit of a challenge, but you got it. I'm gonna walk you through it, you're gonna be fine. So this is what it says. It's a cup holder. These at the top here are cup holders, and watch this. I'm gonna show you this with a suitcase. It's meant to go with a suitcase. But look, when you open it up, it spreads open like this so you can wrap it around the handle of your suitcase. On this inside here, you have a small zip pocket. So this is gonna be where you're gonna keep like maybe some cash, something like that, because this would probably be the most difficult pocket to access, you know, when you're traveling. You don't want anybody accessing your pockets easily. We have Velcro here on the cup holders to hold them together. And then on the back, we have a slip pocket, which is where you can put like your cell phone, something that you need quick access to. So I'm actually going on a trip soon, so I already actually have my suitcase out, ready to be packed, so I can easily show you how this works. So see, you have your suitcase, you can kind of see it over here. You lift up your handle, right? So when you're just hanging out at the airport for a while, maybe this is like not the big suitcase, maybe this is like the carry-on suitcase, things like that, or you're hanging out at hotels for a while. You know, there's a lot of times where you're just kind of like sitting with your suitcases. You can take this here, open it up, wrap it around the back just like that, and then Velcro it back together. I'll be honest, this is the first time I actually put this on a suitcase, so I'm really glad it worked. Okay, so you have it on here, and then let's say you have a couple cups. You can just insert your cups. Maybe you have a coffee and a water, because you should always hydrate. You have your cups on here ready to go. You have this little zipper pocket back here. It's kind of like secret and hidden. And then on the other side, we have a slip pocket. I can easily take my phone, slide my phone into the slip pocket. Right here, nice, easy access. I mean, this is so smart. This is so smart. And I know, as for a mother who travels with her kids a lot, I'm always carrying water bottles and I'm always carrying things. This would be helpful because now I don't have to worry about carrying the kids' water bottles in my purse or just like holding on to them while I'm also holding on to the suitcase and trying to make sure like the kids are holding onto my shirt in some way so that they don't get lost. It's complicated for parents out there, okay? So I think this is just like the cutest idea. It is so fun, and I am so grateful that Carly and Laura reached out to me. I have had the pleasure of hanging out with them a couple of times down at the So Magical Expo in Orlando. I absolutely love meeting them, talking to them, but I most love seeing the things they come out with. So not only do they take patterns that are already out there, and then they kind of like tweak them just a little bit to make them kind of blow your mind, they also are coming up with their own patterns like this, things you've never seen. And I would, honestly, that is probably the most fun thing. As somebody who does a lot of tutorials, sometimes we see very similar designs over and over again with just minor changes. And what's so fun with the Sacred Sisters patterns is that they're coming out with patterns I've never seen. Totally unique. I mean, I saw a little sneaky peeky of a bag they're working on. That is, again, going to blow your mind. So I'm going to be walking you through this pattern today. For this one right here, I did use all waterproof canvas. So waterproof canvas for the outside, water resistant canvas for the inside of the lining, and then sew on Velcro. I am using the type of Velcro that has like a plasticky side and then a fabricy side. I know there's other like interlocking Velcro that might work a little bit better for this. I'll give you some tips about it, but this is what I'm using. And then we have elastic on here. You can see that I did use a thinner elastic than what the pattern suggests. I did order some thicker elastic, so I'll be using the thicker elastic today. I will once again be using all waterproof, water-resistant canvas. I think that that material is really great for this pattern because it's easy to work with, it doesn't fray, you don't have to interface it with woven interfacing. We do still have fusible fleece, we have some Deco Light, we do still have some stabilizer stuff here to help like protect everything and keep it structured. But personally, when it comes to, you know, if it's in an airport and it's going to be bumping against people, I mean, waterproof canvas is just really easy to wipe down versus like a quilt cotton that you might have to throw in the washing machine. You could try it with vinyl. I suggest if you're comfortable working with vinyl, go for it. I think some of these seams will get a little bulky with the vinyl. I personally haven't tried it, so I can't recommend it, but I can recommend waterproof, water-resistant canvas. It is fantastic for this pattern. So if you're new to the OklaRoots YouTube channel, please consider clicking subscribe down below. If at any point you like this video, please give it a like. Any questions, comments, shoutouts, anything at all, leave them down in the comment section. I'll have timestamps for this. This is a fairly quick sew. It is very, very quick to prep. It is a very quick prep project and a pretty quick sew project. The only challenging-ish part, again, is this right here, in my opinion, but I figured out a way to make it a lot easier for me, so I'm going to show you how I did that. Alright guys, let's get started. So for this pattern, you're going to need at least a fat half of your main fabric and a fat half of your lining fabric. I am going to be using a waterproof canvas for the exterior, a water-resistant canvas for the lining. The thing I like about all this is that it is pretty lightweight. I don't have to interface it with any woven interfacing. I don't have to worry so much about fraying or stretching or anything like that, and it's very easy to keep clean. You just wipe it down. Things don't stain as much, and especially if you're going to be using it with any sort of cups, things like that that have moisture, you don't want something that can get soggy, and this is great. It's not going to get soggy. Alright, next up you're going to need a 1/4 yard of mesh fabric. My favorite mesh fabric comes from By Annie. I have this in lots of different colors. You can actually get mesh fabric that matches the fold over elastic, which we're also going to be using, so that's fun to be able to match it all up. I don't usually match it up, but it's fun to be able to do. So a 1/4 yard of that, and then you're going to need about a 1/4 yard of Thermolam, which is a fusible fleece. This is going to help cushion the cups. That's pretty much it, just to cushion the cups. You're also going to need about a 1/4 yard of Decoville Light or some sort of structured stabilizer. This is for that back panel, just to keep it straight so it doesn't start to slouch when you put, your phone in it or you put something in it. You don't want your pocket to smoosh in on itself. So this is going to keep it nice and firm. All right, next up, you're going to need 6.5 inches of a number 5 zipper tape. Zipper tape looks like metal, but it's not. It's plastic, so we can sew over it. You will need a zipper pull to go with it. The zipper pull is metal. Don't sew over that. You're going to need 12 inches of 1-inch wide Velcro. So what you're actually going to need is 6 inches. You're going to need 6 inches on one side, 6 inches on the other side. So if you have a Velcro that is the interlocking Velcro, meaning there's not two different kinds, it's all the same and it just goes together, you're just going to need 12 inches of that and then cut it in half so you have 2 strips. If you're using Velcro like I am, where you have the rough side and you have the soft side, you're going to need 6 inches of one cut and 6 inches of the other cut. You're going to need 1 yard of 1-inch wide fold over elastic. This is going to be for around the top and bottom of our cup holders. These are going to be cut into 4 equal pieces. Then you're going to need 8 inches of 1.5 to 2 inch wide elastic. Now on the first one, I did just use the fold over elastic because that's all I had, but it works fine. But I think like over the long term, you want it to be a little bit more durable. So I invested in this like 1-inch wide, pretty heavy duty elastic off of Amazon. Nothing fancy, nothing pretty, but you don't really see it. So it doesn't need to be fancy or pretty. And then as always, a little tag to put on my bag. All right, here's all my other stuff. Lots of clips, as always. For the bobbin thread, I'll be using this Gutermann thread from Joann's. The needle I'm using today is a Microtex 8012. I'm going to use a Tex 35 weight thread. I thought this color was pretty. I think it'll go with my fabric today. This is a variegated thread again, and this color is called Celebration. It's from Wizardry Stitchery. I love to have these tools at all times. It's a seam ripper, a stiletto, and a turning tool. A 1-inch by 6-inch ruler, always very helpful. For marking material, I like to have options. So I have a Sew Line air erasing marker, a vinyl silver ink pen, and then a Clover white chalk marker, and then a lighter because this just keeps everything nice and clean. All right, so let's work our way through the pattern pieces. First, we have the pocket base. This is going to be this panel right here. So the panel that has the zipper, and then the other side is a lining piece right here. It's not the pocket, it's just this main panel right there. So I have an exterior cut and a lining cut. You can use 2 exterior cuts for this or exterior and lining like I am. Then you're also going to need a coordinating stabilizer piece. For me, this is the Decoville Light. You could also use Decoville Heavy. I would suggest you adhere it to the lining piece or whichever piece is going to be right here. So you see we have this side of the base and we have this side of the base. This side here has the zipper. So if you don't like cutting out these zipper pockets and top stitching down using Decoville Light, adhere the Decoville Light to the piece that's going to go right here because you see it's just a slip pocket. There's nothing you have to cut into over here. Next, we have our cup holder pieces. So 2 pieces of your exterior material, 2 pieces of your lining material, 2 cuts of fusible fleece to soften it up. And then I also have my 2 6-inch cuts of my Velcro. Then you're gonna have 2 cuts of material for the inner zipper pocket. This is the lining material. And then 1 cut of exterior and 1 cut of lining material. This is for that slip pocket that goes on the back. And finally, the only piece you will need a pattern piece to print out for are these mesh bottom pieces. This is so that if there's moisture, it doesn't just soak up inside of the cup holder. It's just easy cuts of mesh. This is the only one you really need to print off. All the pattern pieces are available to print off if you would rather trace them rather than using your ruler, but the pattern also includes the measurements for everything. So I chose to use the measurements, except for this piece. I did print off this one and cut this out. All right, so let's start with our cup holder pockets. First, grab your 2 exterior pieces for your cup holder and fold them in half, wrong sides together, short ends together. And you might want to grab a clip just to hold it in place. Now, I'll be honest, I did seam pick a lot when I first made this one because I wasn't paying close attention to placement of everything. So let's make sure we don't do that together today, okay? When we lay out our cup holders, raw edges need to go inside facing each other, just like this. So the raw edges are facing each other, and then the folded edges go out to the side. You can go ahead and press this. You can press it with an iron if you'd like, or you can just press it with your fingers, whichever is easier for you. But we want to find that midpoint mark over here. So then what you want to do is you want to measure in 5 inches from the raw edge. So 5 inches to the right on this right side from the raw edge and mark a line. I'm using my chalk marker for this because that's what I can see easiest. And then on the left side over here, we're going to do the same thing. We're going to measure 5 inches to the left of our raw edge and mark a line, just like that. I forgot to mention this in the beginning, but you're also going to want to use some double-sided tape today. So now grab one of your Velcros and put some double-sided tape on the back of it, and then remove the paper from the tape. And when we attach the Velcro, we want it to go towards the folded edge. So for me, it's going to be just to the right of that line. And then just line it up with your marked line. Get it in place. You can now unclip this. The whole point of clipping it and doing this is just to make sure the orientation is correct. There we go. So now put some double-sided tape on the other piece of Velcro. And then on this remaining piece of the cup holder, the exterior piece, I'm going to put the Velcro to the left of that line. So once again, I'm just going closer towards the folded edge. There we go. And then I can unclip it, and here we go. If you don't have a directional print, go ahead and mark the top, because I got confused. I think when I originally put this together, I ended up flipping them like this. It didn't work. I had a lot of seam ripping to do. So you want to make sure you know what the top is and what the bottom is. It's easy for me because I have a directional print. Just something to think about. All right, so now that these are opened up, they're not folded anymore, there's no lining or anything like that, let's go ahead and top stitch around all 4 edges of these Velcro pieces at an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, so once you have those top stitched on, grab your thicker elastic. So this is, let's see, mine is 1.5 inches wide. And you're going to trim off 4 cuts that are each 2 inches long. So originally you had one 8-inch piece of this. You're going to cut it into 4 pieces that are equal length, so each 2 inches. I just used my little ruler to help me mark this. There we go. Next, measure 1/2 of an inch up from the bottom right edge and 1/2 of an inch down from the top right edge and mark a line just for placement. I'll be using a chalk marker since it's easiest to see. Once you have those lines marked, grab one of your pieces of elastic and you're going to keep it unfolded. So don't fold anything, just keep it flat. And you're going to line it up so that the top edge of the elastic meets with that top mark. So just underneath that top mark. And then clip this in place to hold it there. Grab your other piece of elastic and lay it down so that the bottom edge of the longer side of the elastic matches up just above that mark on the bottom here. So you can see you just have 2 pieces of elastic, each 1/2 of an inch from the bottom or the top. Okay, you can repeat with the other one as well. It does not matter which of the shorter edges you attach the elastic to because it's going to all be sewn together in a circle anyways. I wanted to quickly note too that if you're using the Velcro like I am, where one side is soft and one side is those hard prickly bits, these hard prickly bits, they like to catch on elastic, and not just this elastic but the double-sided, which can end up making it rough up and kind of fray. So what I'm going to try today is I grabbed some washi tape because what I want to do is cover this, but I don't want anything to get too stuck to it. So I'm just going to try to cover it up with some washi tape because I can still pull this off and I shouldn't have little pieces of paper or anything stuck in there. So I'm just going to cover it up with washi tape to prevent it from sticking to everything else. All right, so once you have your elastic clipped in place, let's go ahead and baste down all 4 pieces at an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Okay, so now you can grab your 2 exterior pieces and your 2 lining pieces. These are all for the cup holders, and you can fold each one of these in half, right sides together, short sides together, and use some clips to hold this in place. You're going to do this for the 2 lining cuts as well as the 2 exterior cuts. Once you have these all clipped, let's sew along those clipped edges at a 1/4 inch seam allowance. Make sure you backstitch at the beginning and the end on each one of these. So if you notice, like I notice on mine, that your elastic is starting to fray quite a bit, grab a lighter and melt that down. This elastic is made out of plastic thread. So when you light it on fire, it doesn't really catch on fire, it just melts and sucks in on itself and seals itself so we don't have to worry about it fraying. Now, turn your exterior pieces right side out. The washi tape isn't working as well as I'd hoped. It's okay. I just need it for a little bit, that's all. So with your exterior pieces right side out and your lining pieces wrong side out, insert the lining into the exterior so that they're wrong sides together, just like this. It doesn't really matter where your seams go. If you like your seams to match up, go ahead and do that. I personally don't because I find it gets a little bulky. So I just kind of put my lining seam wherever. And then we're going to clip these wrong sides together. Now, when you have 2 circles like this, you can see it almost looks like the lining is bigger than the exterior because it's inside, right? So when you clip this, sometimes if you clip it like this, you're gonna have a bunch of baggy leftover lining. So when you clip this, what I like to do is I like to kind of straighten it out and almost bow it in the opposite direction a little bit and then add clips. Just piece by piece, stretching it out, straightening it, and even like whoop, bowing it in the opposite direction, just a tidbit. And you'll see that it'll make it easier to clip it all together. And if you would like to spread open your seams, you can. I think I will. Spreading the seams open just makes it a little less bulky. You don't have so many layers stacked up on each other. So you see when I'm on this last piece here and I straighten it out, it's nice and straight. I don't have any extra lining, you know, where I'm like, how do I adjust this? Now, if you find you do, if you're on the last section here and you're like, but I have a whole bunch of extra lining, all you have to do is just go around and kind of unclip a little bit and stretch it out. Unclip, stretch it out, and you should be able to work it all out. So I'm gonna do this for the top and the bottom of one cup holder, and I'm gonna repeat that for the other cup holder as well. Okay, once you have the top and bottom clipped so that the lining is on the inside, the exterior is on the outside, exterior is right side out, lining is right side in, so wrong sides to wrong sides, we know where we're at. We're going to baste along the top and the bottom at an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, these are done. I'm gonna go ahead and just melt down the other side of these elastics because they are fraying. Now we're gonna attach the bottom mesh, which is actually quite simple. Make sure you know which is the bottom, okay? So just double check everything. These should come together like this, okay? When you flatten out the seam, so if you flatten out your 2 units on their seams, you should once again have it kind of like this, where if the elastic pieces come together, the Velcro are out away from each other, okay? If you have something like this, that's not good, okay? So just double check everything, and now we're gonna attach the mesh. So grab one of your cup holder pieces and look at the seam for the exterior where the elastic is, and you're gonna take one of your pieces of mesh, and the short end of the oval should match up with that seam. There's nothing super precise about this. Honestly, this can be very messy. So what I do is I just kind of like fold it in half real quick, like this. Try to find the opposite end of the seam. Take the other side of my elastic, that short bit, and clip it in place. And with this kind of elastic mesh, it's pretty easy to just like move it where you need it to go. So if it kind of bubbles up somewhere, that's fine. If you need to stretch it somewhere else, that's fine. This is not something you got to be that precise about. You just want to make sure it is completely clipped because we do want to make sure we sew it completely on. We don't want to have a big open spot there. That'll just make it more difficult later. All right, so you can see that's pretty easy. Much, much easier than if this was like a regular piece of material or a piece of vinyl or something. So repeat that with the other piece. Again, short end of your oval matching up with the exterior seam where the elastic is. Other short end, opposite, clip in place. All right, once you have this in place, you can go ahead and just baste down these bottom edges at an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. Alrighty, I know I speed up the sewing portions, but I do hope that you got to see like how messy that is with the elastic, how the elastic just kind of goes everywhere and I'm like bunching it up and folding it over. Because, I mean, look at this. It looks fine, right? Like, it looks perfect. But if you saw it when I was sewing, it did not look perfect while I was sewing it. That's why I said you have a lot of wiggle room here. You don't have to worry about this so much. So now the pattern's going to have you attach the elastic to the top and the bottom at the end after you attach this to the main part of the bag. I'm actually going to attach it now. I have not tried attaching it at the very end like the pattern suggests because I feel like that would be really challenging because it would be just a lot of bulk. So I'm going to attach the elastic now because we're already dealing with these curves. We're already feeling pretty good. You should be feeling pretty good. So let's just get it out of the way. Let's just do it. Hardest part and then we'll be done. All right, I have 4 pieces of fold over elastic and each one is 9 inches long. Now I want to show you if you were to just take this and start wrapping it around just like this, you wouldn't get all the way around, okay? You would get a little over halfway probably and have a lot left over. We have to stretch this as we're sewing it, which was very challenging for me to start. So I'm going to show you what worked best for me. First thing I'm going to do, figure out which side you want to be the right side. So there's a shiny side and a matte side. Totally up to you. Either side works as the right side. I usually like the shiny side out. So I'm going to take shiny side up and I'm going to fold my material in half, which it has a natural partition down the center so it folds easily. And I'm going to cover the seam. So this is where it's going to start and stop, is at the seam of my exterior, so where the elastic is here. And I have it overhanging towards the left of the seam by about 1/4 of an inch to 1/2 of an inch. It's fine either way. And I'm going to clip it in place. And now what I'm going to do is I'm actually just going to sew this down at about an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I'm just tacking it. I'm tacking this one spot right here at an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance just to hold it in place. Okay, so this is what I have now. It's just tacked down. Let's see, I just made about 1/4 of an inch long stitch, okay? So now, keeping your fold over elastic straight, kind of wrap it around like it would go. We just want to make sure it doesn't get twisted. So I like to keep it straight like this and just pretend like I'm wrapping it around, but it's not actually wrapping it around. And then I'm going to bring it back and I'm going to fold over this other end of my elastic to cover about 1/2 of an inch of this elastic on the beginning. So just about 1/2 of an inch or so, wrap it over that beginning elastic and clip it in place. And now I'm going to sew about 1/2 of an inch of this other end, so it's wrapped around the beginning end, and I'm going to sew it about 1/4 of an inch seam allowance, more like an 1/8 of an inch from the bottom edge. So instead of an 1/8 of an inch from the top fold, an 1/8 of an inch from the bottom, but I'm just sewing about 1/2 of an inch, so back stitching at the beginning and the end. Alrighty, so now I have this. I have like a ring and I have it tacked down over here. So now I can really pull on this and get it where I need it. So what I'm going to do first is I want to find the opposite end over here. So I'm going to fold at my seam where my elastic is pulling out over here, my big piece of elastic. And I'm just going to pull it in half so I can find the midpoint on the other side. And it doesn't have to be precise, but I'm going to go ahead and mark that midpoint so I can see it. And then I'm going to pull on my elastic and kind of find the midpoint of that as well. And I'm just going to pinch that with my fingers. And I'm going to wrap the midpoint of my elastic around that midpoint mark I made over there. If it's not exact, that is okay. So there we go. I've got the midpoint over here, the midpoint over here. And now we're going to start stretching. So we're going to stretch the elastic as we go around one side. Make sure you use lots of clips so you don't accidentally just keep stretching it out of the clips. The more clips here, the better. So stretch, stretch, stretch. And I'll show you, once you get a couple clips to really hold that opposite end in place, you can pretty much just flatten it out. See, like this. You can kind of pull it and get that elastic to wrap over the top. This is something that gets easier with practice, okay? Again, I did a lot of seam ripping with this step when I first tried it, but by the time I got to the fourth, bottom of this, I was doing pretty good. The big thing is you gotta make sure that elastic wraps around the raw edges of your waterproof canvas because we're tugging on everything and there's tension here. It's really easy for those raw edges of waterproof canvas to sneak out and then we don't sew over it, which is obviously not the goal here. So like I said, a lot of clips are gonna help. And then we're gonna do this with the other side as well. Alrighty, so you can see it pinches in like that. It's really cool look. Now we're gonna sew this down, and it can be a little tricky. You might find it easiest to use a zipper foot for this, honestly. Try whatever works. If you're really struggling with your regular presser foot, just grab a zipper foot, see if that will help. But we're gonna sew this down. You could try 1/8 of an inch away from the edge. Honestly, if you're kind of worried you're not gonna catch both sides, what I say is just sew right down the middle. So right down the center of this elastic. It's okay if the bottom flips out a little bit. It'll still be cute. That's usually what I do. So I like to sew from the inside, so my top thread is going to be showing on the inside. If you have a bobbin thread that can match this color, that would be great. If you're using a bobbin thread that hides into this, that would be best. So once I have it all sewn in place, I like to grab a lighter and melt the ends of my threads, but also I'm melting the edge of this elastic here because it does fray a little bit. And I find that the messiest point of my sewing right here is at this seam, and that's not going to be seen very much because it's going to be right up against the bag. So that's how I do it, and I feel like it works pretty well. I mean, I could probably go down a little bit further. I do have quite a big lip here, so I'll probably increase the seam allowance. One big thing when you're sewing this at the sewing machine is as you come up, the little 1.5 inches or so before it gets to the needle, straighten that out. If you straighten it out, you'll find it's much easier to sew. You don't have to sew it all smooshed like this. So I'm gonna repeat this one more time just for the bottom edge because I know that mesh can kind of throw you off. It's actually the same process, but I will show you the bottom edge as well. So let's flip this over and look at the mesh side. And once again, I'm going to start by just wrapping this around where my seam is, over here where the big pieces of elastic are, and clip in place. And I'm just going to tack this down, just about 1/4 inch of stitches, and then about 1/8 inch seam allowance from the folded top edge. All right, so I have that tacked down, so I'm going to keep my fold over elastic straight as I kind of faux wrap it around so that I can get the other edge back over to that seam, and I'm going to fold that over what I already tacked down and clip in place. And now I'm going to sew this down at about 1/4 inch seam allowance, again just tacking down this edge, and I'm going to tack down about 1/2 inch wide stitches. So just a 1/2 inch bit here, 1/4 inch seam allowance. Alrighty, so just like I did on the other side, I'm going to find my seam where the large elastic is, and I'm going to just pull this like that so I can find the midpoint on the opposite side of the seam. And then I'm going to mark that with a pen just right on the edge. And then I'm going to pull on my elastic to find the midpoint on my elastic here. And I'm not going to mark anything. I'm just going to pull it up to that midpoint I marked over there on my waterproof canvas and wrap this around that other side and use clips to hold it in place. And then I just stretch the elastic as I go around and clip it around the raw edge of my holder. And again, remember, you can always just kind of tug to straighten it out, and it makes it much easier to clip this in place. All right, once you have it completely clipped, we're gonna once again go to the sewing machine, and I'm gonna sew from the inside. So with the mesh here, you can still sew from the inside. So I'm just gonna sew all the way around at 1/4 inch seam allowance. And there you go. The top and the bottom are just the same. I'm once again going to melt down the little thread bits and also any frayed edge of the elastic. But other than that, there you go. That's the hardest part, is adding that elastic. So I'm going to repeat that with the other cup holder. Alrighty, there we go. These are so cute. Here's my advice. If you're doing this for the first time, attach the bottom binding first. So that fold over elastic, do the bottoms first, because the first time you do it is probably going to be a little messy, and it's probably going to be kind of weird looking. But once you get the hang of it, you can make it look very nice. So for example, the top edge of this pocket here looks so nice compared to the top edge of the first pocket, where I really didn't do the seam allowance big enough, but that's okay. Either way, you know, they look great. We're not going to be inspecting these under a microscope. We only do that when we're sewing it. So these are so cute. Now I'm going to put these to the side, and we're going to work on the middle part. And you know what I just realized? I completely forgot to attach the fusible fleece to my material. Wow. Hopefully you didn't. Hopefully you did attach the fusible fleece to your material. I forgot. I think it'll be okay. The fusible fleece is actually, the Thermolam fusible fleece is really good at keeping hot things hot, cold things cold. For me personally, I think it'll be okay to not have the fusible fleece, but it is better if you have the fusible fleece. I am sorry about that. I wish I would have remembered to attach that. That's disappointing. So grab your slip pocket exterior and lining pieces and lay them right sides together. If you have directional print, we want the directional print to be top on top. And we're going to line up those top long edges and grab some clips to hold them in place. And now let's sew along this top clipped edge at a 3/8 inch seam allowance. Once these are sewn together, let's flip them wrong sides together. So I like to flip one side up and finger press it, and then flip it back. And just try to press this top seam as best you can. You can grab an iron if you'd like, or you can use your fingers. I just use my fingers. And now let's top stitch along this top edge at an 1/8 inch seam allowance. Now to make sure I don't forget, I got my bag tag, and I'm just gonna fold this in half and find the midpoint along the top sewn edge. And I'm gonna grab a chalk marking tool for that. Something that easily comes off. I'm gonna grab my double-sided tape and just add some tape to the back of my tag. And then using the tape and my eyeballs, I'm just gonna line this up probably about a 1/2 inch down from the top edge and tape in place. And now I'm gonna lift up the lining out of the way, and I'm going to top stitch around all 4 edges of my tag at an 1/8 inch seam allowance. Now grab your pocket base lining panel, or whatever you decided to use. And this is the one I actually put the Decoville light on. So this is kind of like the simple basic square here. You're gonna lay that right side up, and you're just gonna take your slip pocket and lay it right side up as well, lining it up on the sides and the bottom. Use clips to make sure nothing moves around at the machine. Isn't this cute? I don't know what it is. Slip pockets are so simple, but there's something about when you layer it up like this. It's just, I just love it. I love all of the different ways you can get creative with this. Now let's just baste down the sides and the bottom at an 1/8 inch seam allowance. All right, you can set this to the side for just a moment. Now let's grab the back side and the zipper pockets that go with it, as well as your zipper and your zipper pull. If you haven't already cut down your zipper tape, like I have not, let's go ahead and do that. Okay, so zipper is cut, zipper pull is attached. Now, since I did not print off the pattern piece with the zipper template on it, I'm just gonna kind of wing it. So I'm gonna give you the measurements for what I'm doing. So first thing I'm doing is grabbing one of these zipper lining pocket pieces, these little tiny rectangles, and I'm just marking the midpoint. I like to mark it with scissors. You could also mark it with a pen. And then I'm gonna flip it over, and I'm gonna look at the wrong side of this. I don't know how well you can see these lines, but I measured 3/4 inch from the top edge and drew a horizontal line. And then I drew another horizontal line just 1/2 inch below that. And then using the midpoint, I marked a vertical line 2.5 inches to the right and 2.5 inches to the left. What I have here is a 5 inch by 1/2 inch rectangle that is centered and 3/4 inch down from the top edge. It might be easiest just for you to print off the printable, but I just didn't. So this is what I did. I feel like this is good. So now I'm gonna take my exterior piece, and I'm going to find the midpoint along the top edge of this one as well. And I'm gonna measure 1/2 inch down from that top edge, and then I'm gonna grab my zipper lining panel, and I'm gonna lay it right side down. So materials are right sides together, right side down, lining it up with that 1/2 inch on my ruler, making sure my midpoint on my lining is matching up with the midpoint on the exterior. I'm gonna grab some more of my washi tape to hold this down because it's slippery. All right, now that I have it in place, I'm just going to sew along this rectangle in the center here. So this 1/2 inch by 5 inch rectangle, we're just gonna start in a corner, and we're gonna go sew on top of all these lines all the way around. Now take your ruler and measure 1/4 inch up from one of the long stitch lines if you're doing the 1/2 inch big window like I am, and mark a line. We're just marking a midpoint line. And then we're going to take our marking tool and we're going to start at one of the corners and we're going to just draw a diagonal line to that center line. So we're making just these little triangles right here. Do this for both corners. Now grab your seam ripper and start seam ripping from the center line just like this. And I only seam rip a small amount so that I can get my scissors in there. And I'm going to cut along that center line until I get to the tip of the triangle. And then I'm going to cut along the diagonal until I get right to the corner of my thread. And I'm not cutting the thread, but I'm very, very close to it. So let's do this for both sides of this little window. All right, once you have that done, let's flip the lining panel so that it's wrong sides together with the exterior panel. Now to straighten this out, you can iron it, or if your material allows you, you could also just press it with your fingers. It just depends on what kind of material you're using, but ironing is usually the best way to go. Okay, so once you have this pressed and ready to go, grab your zipper, and then also grab some double-sided tape. I am using a zipper pull that is very large for this zipper, but that's fine. Sometimes it's fun to be a little bigger than necessary. That's fine. So I'm going to add double-sided tape to the top and bottom edges of my zipper tape. Okay, so when the zipper closes, make sure it's closing towards the left, unless you prefer it to close to the right. And if you don't care, then don't worry about it. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove the paper from the top edge of my double-sided tape, but only from the top, not the bottom. So lay your zipper right side up, just like this. Grab your panel with the zipper window on it, and let's center it. So I'm flipping it up so I can look at my lining panels, because my lining panels are the same width as my zipper tape. So what I want to do is line up my zipper tape with the edge of my lining panels, but then also center the teeth in the middle of that window and try to get around this giant zipper pull. What was I thinking? It's just so cute. And luckily with this tape, you can always just lift things up, move them around. I'm going to try to close the zipper to get it as straight as possible. And I just find it easiest to work with one side at a time. Like if I try to do both the top and the bottom at the same time, I get frustrated. So there we go. Okay, top is good. So now I'm just going to carefully lift up the material, and I'm going to remove the paper from the tape on the bottom edge of my zipper. And then all I have to do is gently fold this back down and press. And that should be good. I mean, that looks cool, doesn't it? Looks really cool. Okay, so now we're going to just top stitch along all four edges of this zipper window at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. I do like to backstitch over the zipper coils just because as you're using this over time, I like a little bit of extra reinforcement there. So before we move on, I'm going to just pull back some of the material so I can look at the edge of my zipper tape, and I can melt this down both sides just because fraying is annoying, honestly. Now let's flip this unit over so we're looking at the back side, and grab your remaining lining panel and lay that right side down on top of the lining panel you've already sewn. And let's clip along the sides and the top, but not the bottom. So once you have the sides and the top clipped, what you're going to do is you're going to take both panels on the bottom edge, fold them up 3/8 to 1/2 of an inch. Just fold them up enough. So see how I'm taking both of them and folding them in the same direction. I'm not folding them in opposite directions. I'm just going to fold them in the same direction just like that. So now what I want to do is sew along the sides and the top at 1/4 inch seam allowance. This is going to be easiest to do if you do it with the right side facing up. Lift this and the giant zipper out of the way. Lift this up and then sew like this. So going all the way around, lifting up that exterior panel because you're only sewing the lining panels. Make sure you backstitch down here at the bottom, and we're not sewing along the bottom at all. That is going to stay open so we can turn everything out. So backstitching here really well. Alrighty, once that's sewn, all we have to do is put it all together and then we're done. So make sure you have this panel with the zipper, you have your water bottle panels, and you also have the other panel with the slip pocket. Now take one of your cup holder panels, and when you flatten it out like this, the Velcro should be up top. So you see when I flatten this one out, and when I flatten this one out, the Velcro is on top. This is where you're going to figure out if you got something flipped upside down, because that's what happened to me. Both of these, when flipped like this and flattened out, the Velcro should be up top, okay? Grab the slip holder panel, and then grab the cup holder so that when it's flattened out like this, the Velcro is up and on the left, and then the elastic is over here on the right. So this other one, put that to the side. You're gonna line up the top edge of your elastic with the top edge of the slip pocket, and you want the elastic to overhang 3/4 of an inch. So this is easiest if you just grab a little ruler and line it up. Get that elastic 3/4 of an inch over, measured up with the top of the slip pocket, and clip in place. There we go. So I'm going to baste this one down first, and then I'll baste the bottom one down. So we're gonna baste this at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. So once that's basted in place, do your best to just kind of straighten out this panel. Remember, it doesn't have to be perfect, okay? And now for the bottom piece, we want that to overhang 3/4 of an inch as well. Where does this line up? I don't know. It's okay. You're gonna be okay. Let's see, mine is lining up, I'll just tell you, mine is lining up about 3/4 of an inch from the bottom edge. So if you want to be more precise, mine is lining up 3/4 of an inch from the bottom edge, the bottom part of that big elastic, and then we need the elastic to overextend 3/4 of an inch. There we go. Remember, elastic is stretchy, so if it's off by 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, you're gonna be fine. There we go. So now I'm gonna baste down the bottom edge, also at 1/8 of an inch. Okay, this should be pretty easy. So far, so good. So now take your other pocket with the elastic hanging out on the left and the Velcro facing right side up, and just smush it right on top of there. We're gonna do the same thing. So over here, we're going to line up the top of our top elastic with the top of the slip pocket. Grab your ruler and make sure the elastic is overhanging 3/4 of an inch, and use your clips to clip it in place. There we go. And since we just have a lot going on over here, I am going to baste this first, and then we'll do the bottom part. So baste this down at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. And then for the bottom, once again, I'm just going to use the measurement 3/4 of an inch from the bottom edge, and then make sure the elastic overhangs 3/4 of an inch. And if any of those numbers are not exact, it's fine. I think because I sewed the elastic onto the top and bottom of these cup holders, this step is just a little bit more finicky because it's not a flat panel, it's all smushed around, but I still think it's pretty easy. I mean, and one thing too to check is, are these lined up? You know, if this one is way up here and the other one's way down there, then you did something wrong. They need to be lined up, but they look good to me. So I'm gonna baste down this bottom edge of the elastic at 1/8 of an inch seam allowance. All right, you ready for this? Open that zipper and make sure that giant zipper pull doesn't go anywhere near your seam. So you have your unit here with your drink pockets already there. Take your unit with the zipper and lay it right side down on top of them. This is like a little empanada. It's very full, okay? So we're gonna start with the corners first. Let's just clip these corners together. Match up all the corners, because there is going to be a lot of smooshing going on with this. All right, once the corners are good, let's go down each edge and just smush those pockets out of the way. They're attached to elastic. You can push them. And there's also just fabric, so you can smush it around. Doesn't have to be flat. We do, however, need these seams that we're clipping to be flat. We don't want to sew those drink pockets into this seam, because then it's not a usable tool anymore, is it? Alrighty, there we go. Just double check, put in there. Okay, zipper's open. Good, good, good. So now we're going to sew at 1/4 inch seam allowance along all 4 edges. Make sure you backstitch at the beginning and the end. And just take your time here, always making sure that none of this good fluffy stuff on the inside is getting into a seam. Alright, once those are sewn, I like to trim down the corners just so it's easier to poke them out. Just don't cut too close to your thread, because then you'll just rip your thread. And now let's pull everything out through that opening in our zipper pocket. So just be gentle here. I find it's easiest if you pull the cup holders out first. Okay, and you'll notice that if this Velcro here starts rubbing against the elastic on the other cup holder, it starts to fray it. If that happens, you can just run a lighter over your elastic and it'll clean it up. It'll be good as new. But I was trying to avoid that with the washi tape, which didn't really do anything. But you can also just pay attention and make sure that this doesn't touch that elastic. It's not very difficult to turn out. All right, this is when it's a good time to grab that turning tool and then use it by putting it inside the bag and poking out the corners very gently, very, very gently. These turning tools, even though it's not super sharp, it can still rip the corners. You don't want to do that. So very gently. And if you're worried about it, just use the more blunt end. Don't use the pokey end. All right, so once you have this turned out, we can give it a good press, but let's finish up the bag first. So pull out that lining pocket, just like this. And since it's already folded, all you have to do is just put your fingers where the seams are and just give it a little tug. And the raw edges should naturally fold in on themselves, just like that. Can help them out a little bit if you need to. So all raw edges should be tucked in, folded in. And now let's just fold along this edge, add some clips to hold it together. Should be a nice, clean, folded edge. And now let's go top stitch this edge at an 1/8 of an inch seam allowance, just completely closing this hole. Now let's tuck that pocket back in. And if you'd like, you can go ahead and press this with an iron. Let's just see how it looks when it all comes together. Let's poof out these cup holders, shall we? Oh yeah. Doesn't that look so fun? In my giant zipper pull. Goodness gracious, look at me, I'm ridiculous. Oh, that's so cute. Look at how cute this turned out. And I'm telling you, it's really not very difficult. I think you're gonna surprise yourself with how much you love this one. How cute are these? These are fun. These are really fun. If you were taking a family vacation, you should make one for every member of the family. If you have like an embroidery machine or a Cricut or something like that, you could put everybody's names on here. This is so cute, especially, oh man, I mean, you guys know how much I love going down to Disney World and on Disney cruises. And I always see those big families on their like big once in a lifetime, everybody in the family trips, and they all have their matching t-shirts. I think this would be so cool if they all had matching ones of these with their names on them. I mean, how pumped up does that get you for your trip? So I did forget to put the fusible fleece on these pockets, which if you do forget it, I think you'll be okay, but I really would recommend you do the fusible fleece. I think like this one just feels a lot sturdier than this one does. It'll still work, but try to remember to include that fusible fleece on the pockets. However, look at how fun these are. They're so fun. Oh, I'm going on a little trip soon, so I might take one of these with me. So thank you again to Laura and Carly over at Sacred Sisters Patterns for allowing me to do a tutorial for this and for reaching out to me and telling me all about it. The excitement that they have over this new endeavor is contagious. The excitement that they have just in general is very contagious. They are some of the most talented artists out there. So to be a part of this is incredible. I'm telling you, like there are bags that we make because we see them in fashion and we want to like create our own version of a bag that we see in fashion. And then there are bag patterns and things like this that come out that you've never seen before, but I'm telling you, we will at some point see them in fashion because they came up with it first. Our girls came up with it first. And that's really cool. But this and another one I've seen, I just think immediately, I'm like, the big industries are going to be all over this. Like this is going to be something, to me, that we would see from a lot of other brands. So I am so thrilled that I get to work with these patterns and get to just to make stuff like this. This just makes you smile. This stuff makes you smile. So I hope that if you haven't given it a try, I hope you do. Let me know what you think. Let me know how you do the top pieces over here. If you want to share your makes and show me and show the girls, make sure you tag us. I'm at OklaRoots. They're the Sacred Sisters. I'll have all of the tags down below. They also have a Facebook group. Make sure you go join it. That's going to be the best way to know about new up-and-coming patterns. And if you guys haven't seen the bag pack, you need to see it. It is so good. It is so good. So make sure you go join their Facebook group. I hope you're having a great day. Have a fantastic rest of your week. Get out there and make something. Bye, guys.